The shark is starting the day, or the sharks are starting the day at distance 4. So Fenn's going to grab a hope token. And it is a regular one again. Now he has 3 available. And our shark is going to move to a distance of 3 now. Let's keep the theme of a good calm day going. And no weather. Our morning phase is going to begin with the changing of our swap location. And it's the signal one again. This time you can place 2 die here. The first person, it's going to cost them 1 hope for each attempt. The second person is going to cost them 3 for each attempt. I'm sorry, 2 for each attempt, up to a maximum of 3. Okay, well, I don't know if I'm going to send anybody there on the 2, but we do have Fenn with 3 hopes, so we might want to send him down here to give it a shot, because he can't do a whole lot else with his hope at this time. Scruffs is not doing too good, so he doesn't get to do anything during this midday phase. He's doing pretty bad. He's all the way down to 3. He's really hungry, taking some wounds for some sharks, so he's going to sit midday out here and relax, which means we're going to do our placement of our other characters, starting with Fenn, then Paul, and then Maya. So here's my choices. I have Paul attempting to get another bottle card. We can use a useful item. Fenn's going to come down here and attempt to use the flare gun several times. Maya is going to try and gain some more hope, and we'll use one of her extra placement die tokens, and we'll have her come here and do some fishing too, because everybody's in pretty rough shape. First up, we have Paul attempting to get a bottle card, so he needs a 2, 4, or 6. Darn it! Paul is not good at getting bottles out of the ocean. Now we're going to have Fenn come over here. Let me grab his hope tokens, and he is here on the swap space. We'll spend his first hope token. No luck. Next one. Nope. Last one. Ugh. Nothing good has happened so far. We're going to have Maya try and generate some hope. She needs 3 points for 1 hope. Oh my goodness. This might be the worst day yet. And finally she did have her extra placement die on the fishing point. Oh my god. That was absolutely brutal. We failed at getting a bottle card. We failed at firing the gun 3 times. We failed at getting hope. And we really did a terrible job at fishing. Only 1 health. Who do I want to really give it to? I guess Scruffs, because he's at a 3. But he's still not going to be up high enough. Whew. Alright. Wow. Yeah, I guess I should prep for hopefully activating him in a couple of days and getting a hold of something good. Not a good set of circumstances. Luckily our evening is empty. Nothing of any consequence is going on. No shark attack happening. We are going to move our logbook over though. So tomorrow we got a calm morning, calm afternoon, but something is about to happen. Has been too peaceful today. Well, let's hope that is true and it is peaceful and successful. We're going to get our first disaster, and the next day we're beginning week 2 and we're going to have a disaster again, and these disasters are pretty awful, so we need to generate some hope, because you can use hope to stop the disaster from happening. But man, we are in bad shape. Our boat is still 6 away. We've only managed to move it 2 with all these attempts. Ooh, this is bad. We'll move our first player token down to Paul, and we're going to hope for a better day going forward. Day 7 and the end of week number 1. The sharks are at distance 2 now. The evening of our logbook did say it was too peaceful, so we shouldn't have any weather issues today. And we don't. Our morning is completely empty, nothing is going to happen, and we can go right into our placement of midday. Scruffs is in no shape to be activated, so we're going to place our die. We got Paul, Maya, and then Fen. We're going to lay off trying to signal the ship right now. I don't have any hope to go here anyway. I can only go up to the regular area, but I've chose to have Paul do some fishing. We desperately need health and to get Scruffs healthy again. We need hope, so I have Maya using her final token. So she has both of her die on here to generate hope, and we're keeping Paul away from the bottles. He hasn't been doing too good, so we're going to have Fen attempt to find something useful for us. So we'll work our way around, and we'll come here and we'll start with Fen at the bottle, move on to Maya for hope, and then finally end with some fishing with Paul. Maybe Fenn's better at getting stuff out of the ocean, so we need a 2, 4, or 6. Come on, buddy. No! Man, this group is awful at it. So now we go over to Maya. She better not roll 2 1s. A 2 and a 4. Well, at least that's 6, so she'll gain 2 hope. And finally, maybe Paul can redeem himself from his bad attempts and do some good fishing. A 6. Yes, he did. First, we'll have Maya get her 2 hope out of here. And we ended up with, looks like 2 regular tokens. Yes. So no die modifiers. There's only 1 left in there. And then our great fisherman Paul was very successful. That great job fishing. Everybody will gain some health back. That'll get Scruffs back into territory where he can be activated. And everybody else is doing okay, but I mean they're down. 2 of our humans are down to their last strength die. And we get 1 additional because of that 6. I think I'm going to give it to Scruffs because I want him to be able to be activated. And we do have a disaster coming, so I don't want that to knock him down 1 health and make it to where we can't use him again. Now we're going to go into the evening phase now, and our warning triangle means we're going to draw our first disaster. Ooh, I'm dreading this because these can be pretty awful. And this one is pretty awful, where we lose an entire day. Then we shuffle this back in to the disaster deck. We can avoid it by spending 2 hope, and we have 2 hope. And there is another disaster coming up the next day, so maybe we go ahead and let this happen. We don't know what's under it, so it could be worse. But if I let it happen, I'm a day shorter. If I don't let it happen, I'm gonna have another disaster. I mean, if I do let it happen, I'm gonna have another disaster. If I don't let it happen, I'm gonna lose that disaster, but I don't know what's next. I'm gonna have Maya hold on to her hope. I am going to let it happen, which means it will get shuffled back in. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to get rid of that coming disaster. And hopefully there's not one the very next day. Plus, the sharks are going to be at distance 1, so that night we would get attacked by sharks and have to deal with that disaster. So that means this day just goes away. Oh no. That's horrible. That is the octopus attacking, and we're still going to have a disaster. That did not go well. So we'll go ahead to our logbook phase, which means that's what's going to be coming for us, and we're going to have a disaster the next day too. Wow, we are getting hammered. We'll pass our first player token. This is absolutely brutal. We got Scruffs up to 6, but the octopus is coming to attack in the next day, and we lost a day, so we're only going to really be on the raft for 20 days. So we might have to reconsider. We're having an awful time trying to signal the boat with the flares. We might have to build up some hope, jump in this water, and go after those suitcases and have the kite ready to go at the end of the game, because we're already technically on day 8 out of 21 because we lost a day in the logbook. So I got some really tough choices to make coming up in our next couple of days. We are ready to start our next day, finally. It's been a long time. I've been in the process of moving to a new home. I can hear that the sound in here is a little different. It echoes a little bit more. I had to pack the game up. I tried to preserve everything just as it was. I packed all the cards up, kept them in the same stacks. The only thing I couldn't remember, and I forgot to take a picture of, was Paul's health here on this bottom die. I can't remember if it was a 6 under there or a 5. And I have not taken the time to go back and watch the video. So if somebody just watched it and saw what was under there, please let me know. If not, I'll go back and take a look eventually. But if somebody knows what the number on this other strength die should be here, please clue me in so I make sure I don't make any mistakes. So things may appear to have shifted around a little bit because I moved 30 miles away and had to box everything up and put it back together. But I took pictures and tried to get everything looking as close to the way it was, and kept all the stacks of tokens and cards and everything in the same location, so nothing has changed and the gameplay will still be the same as it would have been if I were at the old house. Again, I'm not sure how I feel about the sound in here. It does sound really harsh and echoey. I'm probably gonna have to hang some things up on the walls to dampen that down a little bit if it sounds bad when I go through and do my editing. Or if it's not an issue, let me know. I won't bother doing that. But if I notice it as too disruptive and this doesn't sound good, I'll go ahead and hang some stuff up before I do my next filming session. We'll start the new day off with our shark phase, and the shark is going to move to distance 1, and they will attack tonight. We'll see if we can continue our good luck with the weather, and we can. Another clear day. We'll start with our morning phase. I'll do my best to not make any mistakes, but I had to stop playing the game for a while I was moving, so if I get anything wrong on the rules, please bring it up so I can correct it quickly. So we'll start our morning phase, and unlucky for us, the octopus may attack. And when that symbol shows up, that means our first player, which is Scruffs here, would place their die here, and they're going to have to roll to see if the octopus appears and attacks. But I'm not quite sure, since Scruffs does not use a placement die, if he can go there or if it has to be somebody else in his place. Let me check. On days that the octopus is going to attack, the rulebook says that a survivor has to place one of their placement die on the octopus space, or the starting player has to place one of their placement die. Scruffs is our starting player, but it also says in the rulebook that Scruffs does not have a placement die. So this technically is not a placement die. So would I put Scruffs there or not? I didn't see anything in the rulebook that would tell me otherwise. I just changed my mind again. Sorry about the debate I'm having with myself here, but I looked on Board Game Geek, couldn't find anything specific about this. I looked at the rule book again, and it says to put the player's placement die, the first player's placement die on the octopus on octopus attack days. And then play a Scruffs card if possible, and then put the other placement dice out. So, Scruffs doesn't have a placement die, but this would signify that he's going to roll for the octopus attack, the octopus attack. So we do get to play a Scruffs card, in my opinion. If I'm wrong, you let me know what you think about it. And it's a pretty tough one. It's only activated on a 1, but it will move the rescue boat 1 to the right. Well, the only thing that's going to help us here is a 1. Oh, no luck. We went the other way. We got a 6. Before I played that Scruffs card, I should have mentioned at the midday phase, there's no special icons, so we're just putting our placement dice out. And now we would go with Maya, Fen, and Paul, and we need to see where we want to place them. Now, if the octopus attacks, then what they do is nothing. All their placement dice are wasted, but we put them in place just in case the octopus does not attack. Here's the choices I have made. Because we have a disaster coming up and the sharks are going to attack and an octopus may attack, I put both Maya and Paul here to try and gain some hope, because if we do get a chance to gain some hope, maybe we can avoid whatever horrible disaster is here. And I'm going to have Fen attempt to get a bottle card. Maybe we can get an item that'll help us out with all this horrible stuff that's about to happen. But before we activate all these locations, you see this octopus die. We have 2 blank sides and 4 that have tentacle pictures on them. If I roll one of those tentacle pictures, then the octopus attacks. So we only have a 2 in 6 chance of avoiding this. Considering we do have a shark attack coming and a disaster, this would be a good time for some luck. Nope, it's going to beat us up. The octopus attacks. The octopus is going to attack with all 8 tentacles because it still has all 8 tentacles. And for each one, it's going to roll a 6-sided dice. If this number matches anybody's visible strength, that means that the octopus grabs a hold of that player. So we have a 2, a 4, a 5, and a 6 showing. So we're hoping we roll a bunch of 1s and 3s. So we will go ahead with the first attack. And we got a 1. Perfect. That means it doesn't grab a hold of anybody. But we got a long way to go. Number 2. Oh, 4. It's going to grab Maya. Since it grabbed Maya, she's going to roll her placement die. If she rolls less than that number, a 1, 2, or a 3 in this case, she's going to take a wound. If she ties, then the octopus loses its grip. Nothing happens to the octopus or the player. If she rolls higher than that die, a 5 or a 6, she will damage the octopus, cutting off whichever tentacle we're on, which is number 2 right now. So I'd like a 5 or a 6, but I'll take a 4. And a 4, it's a wash. Nothing happens. He drops Maya. Nothing to worry about, no wounds. We move on to tentacle 3, 5. That's going to be Fen. So Fen's going to roll, and his margin's much thinner. Only 5s and 6 stop a wound, and he got a 4, which means the octopus did hurt him, causing him to go from a 5 down to a 4. Move on to tentacle number 4, and that's a 5. Since he lost to health, there are no 5s out there, so the octopus doesn't grab anybody. Tentacle 5 grabs a hold of Scruffs, and unfortunately all Scruffs can do at best is roll a 6 to tie. He does not, so that'll knock him down to a 5. Move on to tentacle number 6. And that is a 6, which there are no 6s on here as far as visible strength goes. A 2, which means Paul will get attacked, but only a 1 will cause damage. Anything over a 2, though, will get to take a tentacle out. And, oop, almost off camera, and it's a 4, so he does take that tentacle out, and it stays permanently gone. So next time the octopus were to attack, it would only attack 7 times instead of 8. And finally, that last tentacle attacks number 4. We have 2 players that have a 4, both Maya and Fen. So we need to choose. So what I'll do is I'll just roll a die. 1, 2, and 3 will be Maya. 4, 5, and 6 will be Fen. Maya gets grabbed, and she tries to defend herself, and she does successfully, and it's actually higher, so that's another wound to the octopus, who now only has 6 tentacles for any future attacks. That wasn't terrible. It could have been a lot worse, but since the octopus attacked and took up our entire day trying to fight it off, all of our placement die are taken off the board and given back to the players, and they don't get to perform any activities, which will move us right into the evening phase, where we have that disaster symbol at the bottom of the card, and we didn't get a chance to get more hope, so this may really hurt us. Oh no, and it takes 3 hope to stop it, and we only have 2. It's going to move the rescue boat back 1. Well, that's definitely unfortunate. That's going to move us the boat back 1. Now it's only 1 space from where we started. We got a long way to go. We may have to risk going for that kite. And the nightmare scenario continues with all 4 sharks attacking the raft. We have our raft full of really tired survivors dealing with a lot today, and now they're going to deal with 4 shark attacks. Our first shark attacks location 6 with a strength of 3. Unfortunately, that is Paul, who's only at a 2, so that is enough to knock him down to a 1. Attack number 2. Same location, but this time it's a strength of 1. So Paul manages to fend that shark off. Location 4 with a strength of 1. That is right here with Scruffs. That is easily defended by Scruffs. And our last attack is location 6 again, and lucky for us, we got a 1 again. So we only took that 1 wound with those shark attacks. Now we're going to go to our logbook phase, move this over, and we are really getting beat up here. We're going to have another disaster in the future, but we do have some strength being gained by everybody, so that's the first positive one we've seen in a while, and that's a Kickstarter exclusive card for this one. We're going to pass the first player token up to Maya, and then also reset our shark back down to distance 5.